most of us, it's impossible to wrap our minds around why someone would confess to a crime they didn't commit. But it's happened hundreds of times across the country.
Mark, dozens of people are making their way inside the Traverse City Opera House. They're all dressed up and ready for a night of dancing, food, and a ton of fun. You can feel the excitement in the air. You can hear the wonderful music behind me. There's even some folks starting to get up to dance, and they're all ready for the Swing Shift in the Stars 2014 to kick off. Now, I'm joined here by Judy Harrison, one of the event's founders. Judy, thank you so much for being here with me tonight. So we put the brand names you know to the test. We compared them against their generic brands in taste, nutritional value, and price.
For most of us, it's impossible to wrap our minds around why someone would confess to a crime they didn't commit. But it's happened hundreds of times across the country. False confessions and wrongful convictions have become the work of the Michigan Innocence Clinic. Since it opened in 2009, the lawyers and students have helped exonerate 8 people. I sat down with the clinic's founder to find out more about what they do and why they're working so hard to free a man convicted of murder here in northern Michigan. We do want to warn you, some of the details of this story may be graphic.
When you get to the point where you're completely convinced that a person is innocent and has been wrongfully convicted, it's all consuming.
Exonerating the wrongly convicted has become David Moran's life's work.
For many years, the dominant paradigm was that the criminal justice system was almost flawless, that wrongful convictions didn't happen. It was like getting hit by a meteor. And DNA exposed all that. It became clear that there actually are a lot of problems in the criminal justice system, and the criminal justice system makes a lot of mistakes.
But perhaps one of the most unique cases Moran and his team have worked on is the northern Michigan murder of Geraldine Montgomery.
This is about the sexual assault and murder of a vulnerable, decent member of this community.
Geraldine Montgomery was savagely raped and murdered back in October 1996, and then she was stuffed into the trunk of her car and left to die by the killer who turned on the ignition.
Jamie Peterson was found guilty. He confessed to the murder. There was other evidence that only somebody who had knowledge of the crime scene would know.
He'd given a series of confessions, and especially the early versions of his confessions were completely wrong.
How did Mrs. Montgomery's bra come off?
She took it off in the bedroom.
Or would it end up in the laundry room?
I threw it in there after I wiped the car down.
Peterson was wrong about where the bra ended up, only bringing up the laundry room after police suggested. He also didn't say anything about a box that had been taken out of Montgomery's trunk until after police suggested first.
What did you take out of the other side of the trunk to make her comfortable for her
I think it
legs?
was the tire, I'm not sure.
A box or anything?
Can I answer it loud?
Yeah.
Do you remember any tools that were in the trunk?
There's the jack. I don't think there was anything else. I don't remember.
How about a hammer?
I think there was a hammer, I'm not sure.
They had multiple versions of the confession from him, all of which he had raped Miss Montgomery both vaginally and orally. The DNA comes back from the vaginal swab, and it's not him.
But police had a new theory.
Jamie Peterson raped Miss Montgomery orally, and the other guy, the accomplice, is the one who raped her vaginally. They were able to maintain that theory at trial because the semen that was associated with the oral rape was mixed with Miss Montgomery's saliva on her shirt. There wasn't enough of it to test the DNA in the 1990s.
We can't ignore the overwhelming evidence that it was not Jamie Peterson.
Jamie Peterson was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. By the summer of 2013, Kalkaska had a new prosecutor and new technology to test the DNA samples.
It was the same person. And they instantly got a hit when they ran it through CODIS on Jason Ryan.
35-year-old Jason Ryan was arrested in December 2013. His case is now headed to trial. Moran's team has petitioned the judge for a new trial for Peterson as the investigation continues.
We'll never quit until we have all suspects.
Until then, Moran will wait and hope that after 17 years behind bars, Jamie Peterson will eventually be among the success stories that cover the walls of the Michigan Innocence Clinic.
There's an extremely high burden of proof for the cases that the clinic takes on. Of nearly 4,000 applications, they end up investigating about 15% and end up taking on even fewer.